A silent glow descended upon the cornfield, illuminating the darkened rows with an otherworldly light that seemed to pulse with a heartbeat of its own. The air was thick with an unexplainable vibration, causing the very ground to tremble beneath his feet. As he stood frozen, a chilling awareness washed over him. An invisible presence, intelligent and watchful, danced just beyond the edge of perception. Without a single rustle, stalks of corn began to bend, curving gracefully without ever touching the earth, as if guided by an unseen force. The formation shifted and swayed in a rhythm that felt almost sentient, responding to the depths of his unspoken thoughts and fears. This was no ordinary night. Something miraculous yet terrifying was unfolding in the stillness, and he was the unwilling witness to a spectacle that defied all logic. As he dared to take a step forward, the air crackled with energy and the atmosphere thickened. Something ancient and unfathomable was stirring in the fields. What was it that understood him without words? And what secrets lay hidden in the heart of the corn? The night was just beginning, and the true nature of this phenomenon was poised to reveal itself. The night air was electric, charged with a tension that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. He stood alone on the edge of the cornfield, the dense rows of tall stalks rising like sentinels in the moonlight. The silence was profound, broken only by the faint rustle of leaves swaying in a breeze that seemed to emanate from nowhere. Every instinct in him screamed to flee, yet an invisible tether held him in place, drawing him deeper into the heart of the phenomenon unfolding before him. As the ethereal glow intensified, casting eerie shadows that danced across the ground, the vibrational hum grew louder, resonating through his bones. It was a sound unlike any he had heard, a low-frequency pulse that seemed to sync with his heartbeat. The entire cornfield vibrated, each stalk responding to the unseen energy that coursed through the air. He felt as if he was standing on the threshold of two worlds, one known and the other teetering on the brink of the unimaginable. He took a cautious step forward, the earth beneath him quaking slightly in response. The sensation was disorienting, as if he were walking on a surface that was somehow both solid and fluid. The cornfield, once a mere expanse of crops, now felt alive, breathing in tandem with his own fearful gasps. Each row of corn twisted and bent as if they were reaching out, stretching toward him, yet never touching the ground. The intricate choreography of their movement suggested a rhythm, an intelligence guiding them that was both mesmerizing and chilling. He paused, his breath hitching in his throat as he strained to sense what was happening. The air was thick with a metallic tang, reminiscent of a thunderstorm brewing on the horizon. His heart raced, each beat echoing in the silence that enveloped him. In that moment he felt a presence, one that did not belong to the earthly realm. It was as if the very essence of the field was aware of him, acknowledging his existence with an understanding that transcended language. The fear that had gripped him began to intertwine with a profound curiosity, a desire to uncover the truth behind this otherworldly experience. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught his eye. Shadows flitted between the rows, darting with an intelligence that sent shivers down his spine. In the darkness, he could make out forms that were not quite human, not quite animal, yet undeniably sentient. They moved silently, weaving through the corn with an elegance that felt both beautiful and eerie. He strained to focus, to decipher the shapes that danced just out of reach, but they remained elusive, mere whispers in the night. The wind shifted abruptly, carrying with it a cacophony of sounds that seemed to vibrate in harmony with the pulsating glow. Whispers echoed in the air, soft and melodic yet incomprehensible. They wrapped around him like a shroud, inviting him deeper into the mystery, urging him to surrender to the unknown. The sensation was intoxicating, yet laced with an underlying dread. What lay beyond the veil of the ordinary? What secrets did the night hold, and at what cost would he uncover them? As he moved further into the field, he became acutely aware of the subtle changes in his surroundings. The familiar landscape of the cornfield morphed, becoming something other than itself. The rows of corn now formed geometric patterns, spirals and angles that defied nature's design. It was a language of shapes and forms, a code written in the very fabric of the field. The sight was both mesmerizing and disconcerting, as if the field was communicating in a way that transcended human understanding. In that moment, the air thickened, a palpable weight settling around him. He felt as though he were being watched, not just by the unseen forces in the field, but by something far greater. An ancient intelligence seemed to pulse within the earth, whispering secrets of the cosmos that had long been buried. The fear that had initially gripped him began to evolve into a sense of reverence. This was not merely a phenomenon to be feared. It was an invitation to explore, to connect with something beyond the mundane. His mind raced with questions, each one more desperate than the last. What was it that had brought him here? Was he meant to bear witness to this unfolding mystery, or was he merely an intruder in a sacred space? The shadows grew darker, the glow brighter, and with each passing moment, the divide between the known and the unknown began to blur. Then, just as swiftly as it had begun, the energy shifted again, and a chilling silence fell over the field. The pulsating glow dimmed, and the shadows retreated, leaving him standing alone in the stillness. The corn stood rigid, as if frozen in time, the moment of revelation slipping through his fingers like grains of sand. He felt an overwhelming sense of loss, as if the connection he had briefly shared with the field had been severed. What had he just witnessed? The question echoed in his mind as he stood surrounded by the darkness, heart pounding in his chest. The experience felt like a dream, yet the vivid sensations remained imprinted in his memory, an indelible mark of something miraculous and terrifying. He turned to leave, but a lingering sensation tugged at him, urging him to look back one last time. The cornfield lay silent, but deep within its heart he knew that something extraordinary had taken place. The night was far from over. The true nature of the phenomenon had yet to reveal itself. He stepped back into the shadows, feeling the weight of the unknown pressing down on him. A haunting reminder that the mystery was only just beginning. What awaited him in the depths of the field, and would he ever truly be ready to confront it? The cold dawn crept over the horizon, casting a pale light across the vast expanse of the cornfield. Each stalk, once a vibrant green, now stood a muted shade of grey under the weight of the morning mist. The air was thick with a metallic scent, a lingering reminder of the night's extraordinary events. He could still feel the pulse of energy within the earth, reverberating through his bones as if the field itself was alive and aware. It was a sensation that both thrilled and terrified him, a deep-rooted instinct that something unimaginable was happening just beneath the surface. He stepped cautiously through the rows of corn, the ground damp and soft beneath his feet, each step stirring up the earthy aroma of soil and life. There was a stillness that hung in the air, a silence so profound that it seemed to absorb even the faintest sounds of nature. Not a bird dared to sing, nor did a breeze rustle the leaves. Instead, an oppressive quiet enveloped him, punctuated only by the sound of his own heartbeat, a drum echoing in the vast emptiness. As he moved deeper into the field, the feeling of being watched intensified. It was as if the very shadows held their breath, waiting for him to uncover the truth. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and he glanced over his shoulder, half expecting to find something lurking just out of sight. But there was nothing, only the endless rows of corn standing sentinel, concealing whatever secrets lay beyond. The air grew heavy, charged with an electricity that buzzed in his ears, a prelude to something monumental. Then, in the heart of the field, he noticed it. A faint glow emanating from the ground, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. The light was soft yet powerful, illuminating the surrounding stalks in an ethereal, silvery hue. He approached it slowly, each step measured as if he were wading through water. The glow swelled and dipped, casting long shadows that danced across the soil, as if something primeval was awakening. The air shifted, carrying with it a low hum, a sound that resonated deep within his chest, pulling him closer to the source. The geometric patterns began to materialize before his eyes, shapes that defied comprehension and logic. Spirals intertwined with angles, curves melded into sharp edges, forming a design that was both beautiful and unsettling. It was as if the earth had been meticulously crafted by hands unseen, an intricate tapestry woven from threads of cosmic knowledge. Each curve shimmered with an otherworldly light, illuminating the insatiable hunger for understanding that lay dormant within him. In that moment, he felt a connection, a thread weaving itself between him and the ancient intelligence that thrummed beneath his feet. The realization struck him with a force that nearly knocked the breath from his lungs. This was not merely a phenomenon to be observed, it was a dialogue, an invitation to commune with the unfathomable. The possibility of knowledge beyond the human experience beckoned, tantalizing and terrifying in equal measure. But just as quickly as the revelation ignited within him, the atmosphere thickened with an all-consuming dread. The low hum escalated into a cacophony of sound, a symphony of dissonance that rattled his bones and sent chills racing down his spine. The light flickered violently, casting shadows that twisted and morphed, evoking images of the unknown that lurked just beyond the veil of perception. Panic surged through him, grappling with the awe that had initially gripped his heart. What if this connection was not one of enlightenment but of peril? He stumbled back, the ground beneath him seeming to shift and swirl, as if the earth itself was alive with a will of its own. The fear coiled around him like a serpent, squeezing the breath from his lungs. He tore his gaze away from the glowing patterns, the awe-inspiring beauty now tainted by the haunting realization of his vulnerability. The whispers in his mind grew louder, a chorus of questions and fears that clamored for attention. What had he uncovered? What ancient truths lay buried within the soil? And what consequences awaited him for seeking them? In a desperate attempt to flee, he turned to leave. But the ground beneath him trembled, and he felt the pull of the energy urging him to stay, to witness what was to come. The shadows closed in around him, wrapping him in their cold embrace, and he hesitated, caught in the inexorable grip of curiosity and dread. It was a choice that felt both liberating and suffocating, teetering on the edge of revelation and ruin. As he stood there, caught between two worlds, the known and the unfathomable, he felt a rush of wind sweep through the field, carrying with it a whisper of voices, echoing faintly in the recesses of his mind. They sang of ancient mysteries, of knowledge that transcended time, and of the connection between humanity and the cosmos. The air crackled and surged, lifting the hairs on his arms, igniting a fire of determination within him. Whatever the truth was, he knew he could not turn away. He needed to know. With a deep breath, he steeled himself against the rising tide of fear, letting it wash over him like a wave, feeling the exhilaration of surrender. He stepped forward, drawn by the promise of illumination hidden within the shadows. The glow beckoned him closer, and as he crossed the threshold into the heart of the phenomenon, he understood that the darkness was merely a canvas upon which the light would paint its secrets. And as the light enveloped him, he felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, as if he were finally part of something greater than himself. Something ancient and wise, a force that had been waiting for him perhaps for centuries to awaken it from its slumber. The mystery was alive, pulsing with the rhythm of the universe, and he was ready to embrace whatever revelations lay ahead, even if they came at a cost. The air around him thickened as he stepped further into the field, each blade of grass swaying as if in anticipatory reverence. The darkness seemed to breathe, exhaling a chill that wrapped around him like a shroud. Every heartbeat echoed in his ears, a drumroll heralding the unknown. He could feel the soil pulsing beneath his feet, a heartbeat synchronized with his own, as if the earth itself was alive, aware, and waiting for him to unlock its secrets. The first tremor of sound reached him, a low, resonant hum that vibrated through the ground and into his bones. It was unlike anything he had ever experienced, a frequency that resonated with the deepest part of his being. It was both soothing and unsettling, a siren's call that urged him to delve deeper into the abyss of mystery. He closed his eyes, allowing the sound to wash over him, filling him with an inexplicable energy that felt both alien and familiar. Then, the light returned, a soft, luminescent glow that seemed to rise from the very earth, illuminating the darkened expanse around him. It flickered and danced, casting elongated shadows that twisted and contorted, creating shapes that defied the laws of nature. The light was not just a visual phenomenon. It had substance, a texture that brushed against his skin, leaving a tingling sensation in its wake. It was as if the very essence of the cosmos had descended upon this quiet, rural patch, transforming it into a theater of the miraculous. As the light intensified, geometric patterns began to emerge from the darkness. Circles within circles, spirals that seemed to fold into themselves, and shapes that defied comprehension materialized before his eyes, swirling with a precision that was breathtaking. The patterns seemed to pulse in time with the hum beneath his feet, creating a symphony of visual and auditory sensations that enveloped him entirely. Each shape whispered secrets of the universe, hints of ancient knowledge encoded within their intricate designs. The very air around him shimmered with possibility, charged with an energy that made the fine hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. He felt the pull of the unknown, a magnetic force drawing him closer to the unfolding spectacle. It was as if the universe itself was extending an invitation, a chance to uncover the truths that lay hidden in the fabric of existence. Yet beneath the wonder, a thread of fear wove its way through his consciousness. What was it that he was witnessing? Was it a blessing or a curse? The shadows that flickered at the periphery of his vision felt alive, moving with an intention he could not grasp. Were they guardians of this knowledge or manifestations of something darker? The questions raced through his mind, each one more unsettling than the last. Suddenly a sharp crack pierced the air, echoing through the field like a gunshot. The harmonious hum faltered for an instant, replaced by an eerie silence that enveloped him like a thick fog. The shadows seemed to congeal, forming a darker mass that loomed ominously, and for a brief moment he felt a surge of dread wash over him. Something was watching, something that thrived in the darkness, waiting for the moment of reckoning. He stumbled back, feeling the ground shift beneath him as if it were alive, a creature of the earth responding to his fear. But just as quickly the light returned, flooding the space with warmth and clarity, dispelling the shadows. It was a stark reminder of the duality of the experience, light and dark, knowledge and fear, comfort and terror. As he steadied himself, he began to hear whispers, soft and melodic, weaving through the air like a gentle breeze. They were not words but feelings, emotions that surged within him, igniting a sense of urgency and curiosity. They spoke of connection, of cosmic ties that spanned time and space, of a truth that linked all living things. It was a language that transcended the barriers of spoken word, a communion of souls. He took a deep breath, the metallic tang of the air filling his lungs, grounding him in the moment. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, urging him to listen, to understand. It was as if the very fabric of existence was unraveling before him, revealing the interconnectedness of all things. But with this revelation came a haunting question. Was he prepared to bear the weight of such knowledge? The urge to flee danced at the edges of his mind, yet he stood resolute. He was not just an observer. He was a participant in this unfolding drama, a thread woven into the tapestry of the cosmos. As the light enveloped him once more, he felt a sense of empowerment, as if the universe was extending its hand, inviting him to embrace the mystery, to become one with the unknown. In that moment he understood that the fear of the unknown was merely a reflection of his own insecurities, a barrier that he could transcend. With every heartbeat, he felt the energy around him shift, growing more potent, more alive. The shadows no longer felt sinister. Instead, they were guardians of the truth, protectors of the wisdom that lay just beyond the veil. As he surrendered to the experience, he felt the ground pulse beneath him, a rhythmic heartbeat that synchronized with his own. The shapes and patterns began to merge, forming a grand design that unfolded before his eyes, revealing the interconnectedness of everything: the stars, the earth, and the very essence of life itself. The hum of the universe resonated in harmony with his soul, inviting him to explore the depths of existence, to walk the line between the known and the unfathomable. And as he stood there, enveloped by the light and the whispers, he understood that this was not just a moment of revelation. It was a beginning, a journey into the heart of the cosmos, where secrets awaited and answers lingered just out of reach. The fear that had once gripped him transformed into a profound sense of purpose. He was ready to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The night had transformed into an otherworldly realm, a place where the air pulsed with energy and the very soil beneath him vibrated with a resonance that transcended comprehension. As he stood at the edge of the field, the luminous glow had begun to coalesce into a shape, an intricate pattern that defied the laws of nature. The geometry was ethereal, a dance of lines and curves that spiraled in on themselves, folding and unfolding as if alive. It was a cosmic mandala, a sacred design that hinted at the intelligence behind its existence. The light shifted from a blinding white to a soothing azure, casting shadows that seemed to flicker and pulse, hinting at conscious movement. Within this luminous spectacle, the whispers intensified, a symphony of voices that seemed to rise from the very earth itself. They beckoned him closer, wrapping around him like a warm embrace, yet there was an undercurrent of urgency, a call to witness something profound, a revelation that lay just beyond the threshold of understanding. Every fiber of his being was alive with anticipation, a mingling of fear and fascination that coursed through his veins like electricity. As he stepped closer, the air thickened, charged with an unexplainable tension that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. It was as if the atmosphere itself was holding its breath, waiting for the moment of transformation. And then, with a sudden surge of power, the geometrical pattern began to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat, a synchronized dance that transcended the boundary between the observer and the observed. The sound that accompanied this cosmic ballet was unlike anything he had ever heard. A low, resonant hum that vibrated through his chest, rising and falling like the tide. It was a language of the universe, rich with meaning yet utterly incomprehensible. Each note seemed to unlock a door within him, revealing fragments of memories and emotions long buried. He felt a profound connection to the cosmos, as though he was not merely standing on the earth, but was a part of the very fabric of existence. In that moment, time seemed to lose its significance. The stars above flickered in response to the unfolding spectacle, their light merging with the patterns below, creating a celestial tapestry that defied the boundaries of reality. He could feel the presence of something greater than himself, a watchful intelligence that hovered just beyond his perception. It was not malevolent, rather, it was a guardian of the mysteries that lay hidden in the cosmos, urging him to delve deeper into the enigma of existence. Yet with this awakening came a swell of trepidation. The beauty of the moment was laced with an unsettling awareness that knowledge comes at a price. What truths would he uncover? What shadows would he face? The fear of the unknown clawed at his consciousness, whispering doubts that threatened to pull him back into the safety of ignorance. Would he be able to bear the weight of the revelations that awaited him? As if sensing his inner turmoil, the light intensified, casting away the lingering shadows of doubt. The geometric pattern began to shift, revealing intricate details that sparked his curiosity. Spirals intertwined with fractals, symbols that resembled ancient scripts danced before his eyes, each curve and angle exuding a sense of purpose. It was a cosmic language, a communication that transcended spoken words, rooted in the essence of being itself. He drew closer, compelled by an invisible thread that seemed to pull him into the heart of the mystery. The whispers became a chorus, an invitation to step into the unknown. The air crackled with anticipation, and he could feel the weight of the universe resting upon his shoulders. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once, a reminder that every moment of insight came with the potential for chaos. Suddenly, a surge of light erupted from the center of the pattern, flooding the field with an intense brilliance that momentarily blinded him. Instinctively, he raised his hands to shield his eyes, but even through the veil of light he could sense the shift in energy. The ground beneath him trembled as if responding to some cosmic directive, and the whispers crescendoed into a harmonious climax, filling the air with a sound that resonated deep within his soul. Then, as quickly as it began, the light receded, leaving behind a lingering glow that illuminated the intricate design etched into the earth. The air became still, the whispers faded into silence, and a profound sense of awe enveloped him. Before him lay the agroglypho, an impossibly perfect formation that seemed to pulse with life, each blade of grass meticulously bent yet unbroken, as if cradling a secret too sacred to be disturbed. He stepped forward, drawn into the heart of the mystery, where the air was thick with the scent of ozone and earth. The residue of energy hung in the atmosphere like a tangible presence, a reminder of the extraordinary event that had just unfolded. As he surveyed the intricate patterns, a sense of reverence washed over him. This was not merely a phenomenon. It was a message from the cosmos, a symbol of the interconnectedness of all things. Yet beneath the awe, a gnawing uncertainty lingered. What had he truly witnessed? Was this an invitation to embrace the unknown, or a warning to tread carefully? As he stood amidst the remnants of the event, the enormity of what lay ahead settled heavily upon him. The fear of the unknown had not dissipated. Rather, it had transformed into a profound curiosity, a drive to explore the depths of the mystery that had been revealed. As the shadows of night deepened and the stars twinkled above, he knew that this was only the beginning. There were answers waiting to be discovered, truths that would challenge everything he thought he knew. And with that thought, he felt a surge of determination swell within him. He would uncover the secrets hidden in the cosmic fields, no matter the cost. The journey was just beginning, and he was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. In the stillness that followed, a haunting silence enveloped the field, wrapping around him like an invisible cloak. He stood transfixed before the agroglypho, a celestial inscription etched into the very fabric of the earth. Each curve and angle of the geometric formation seemed alive, pulsating with an energy that resonated through his bones. The air was thick with electricity, a tangible force that sent shivers skittering down his spine. The lingering glow from the phenomenon painted the landscape in hues of silver and blue, casting long shadows that danced with an ethereal grace. As he stepped closer, the scent of damp earth mingled with the sharp tang of ozone, a reminder of the cosmic forces that had just swept through this rural expanse. The ground beneath his feet felt warm, as if it had absorbed the energy of the event, and he sensed a heartbeat within the soil, steady and rhythmic. It was as if the land itself was breathing, exhaling secrets that had been buried for eons. The geometric design before him was not merely a random occurrence, it was a language, a manifestation of something far greater than himself. Whispers echoed in the back of his mind, a chorus of voices that seemed to rise from the ground, weaving an intricate tapestry of sound that both soothed and unsettled him. Each note resonated with the vibration in the air, a symphony of the unknown that beckoned him to listen more closely. He strained to comprehend the messages hidden within the melody, a call to understand the mysteries that lay beyond the grasp of human perception. Yet, as he stood there, awe mingled with trepidation. The formation was beautiful, yes, but it was also a riddle wrapped in an enigma, and the unanswered questions loomed like dark clouds on the horizon. He felt the weight of countless eyes upon him, not from the shadows of the trees or the distant farmhouse, but from the very cosmos itself. It was a sensation that sent a chill racing down his spine, a reminder that he was not alone in this vast universe. Something was watching, something that lay just beyond the veil of reality, waiting for him to take the next step. He knelt beside the agroglypho, tracing the outlines with trembling fingers. The grass bent beneath his touch, yet remained unbroken, a paradox that defied logic. It was as if the plants were in a state of reverence, honoring the mystery that had unfolded before them. He marveled at the precision of the design. Every angle, every curve was mathematically perfect, almost too perfect to be of this world. A deep sense of unease settled in his gut as he considered the implications. Who, or what, had created this? The wind shifted, carrying with it a low hum that vibrated through the air. It felt like a warning, a sonic tremor that pulled at the edges of his consciousness. He glanced around, half expecting to see a figure emerge from the darkness, an otherworldly being drawn to the energy of the agroglypho. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end as he recalled the stories he had heard as a child, the tales of lights in the sky, of beings that traversed the stars, leaving behind signs that only the chosen few could decipher. He closed his eyes, allowing the sounds of the night to envelop him. The rustling leaves whispered secrets, the distant hoot of an owl echoed like a call from another realm, and the rhythmic chirping of crickets created a backdrop to his racing thoughts. The world around him felt alive, charged with a sense of purpose, yet he remained an outsider, a mere observer on the threshold of something profound. What lay on the other side of this cosmic veil? Was it enlightenment, or was it something darker? As he opened his eyes, the agroglypho glimmered under the starlight, a beacon of mystery that both beckoned him closer and warned him to stay away. He could feel the pulse of the universe resonating within him, an invitation to explore the depths of the unknown. With each passing moment, the urgency grew. He needed to uncover the truth behind this phenomenon, to understand the forces at play. But the fear lingered, a shadow that whispered of consequences. What if he ventured too far? What if he uncovered a truth that was never meant to be known? The weight of responsibility settled heavily on his shoulders. He had witnessed something extraordinary, yet the burden of that knowledge felt like a chain binding him to the ground. A sudden rustle nearby jolted him from his reverie. He turned sharply, heart pounding, scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. The shadows seemed to deepen, swirling around him like a living entity, and for a fleeting moment he thought he saw a figure, a silhouette just beyond the tree line. It vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving only the echo of his racing heart and the chilling question that loomed in the air. Had he truly been alone in this cosmic dance? The night stretched on, a tapestry of stars woven into the fabric of the universe, and he knew he could not turn back. The allure of the unknown was too strong, the promise of revelation too enticing. He would delve deeper into this mystery, for within the agroglypho lay answers that could unravel the very fabric of reality itself. And as he took a step back, he felt the cosmos shift, a silent acknowledgement of his resolve. The journey ahead would be fraught with uncertainty, but he was ready. With a deep breath, he steeled himself against the fear and embraced the curiosity that had ignited within him. Whatever forces were at play, he would uncover them, for the echoes of the cosmic fields called to him, and he could not resist their siren song. The dawn broke with an eerie stillness, the kind that enveloped the rural landscape in a thick shroud of tension, as if the air itself held its breath in anticipation. The agroglypho, now fully revealed under the pale light of morning, sprawled across the field like a cosmic puzzle waiting to be solved. Its intricate patterns, a mesmerizing labyrinth of spirals and lines, seemed to pulsate with a life of their own, whispering secrets that only the brave would dare to uncover. The geometry was perfect, each curve and angle seemingly etched by an unseen hand, leaving no room for doubt that this was not the work of nature alone. As he approached, the ground beneath his feet felt strangely warm, a residual heat clinging to the earth like an electric charge. The air buzzed with a low-frequency hum that resonated within his chest, vibrating with a rhythm that felt both foreign and familiar. It was as if the very essence of the universe was alive here, thrumming with energy that beckoned him closer. He could smell the metallic tang in the air, a scent that sent shivers down his spine, mingling with the earthy aroma of damp soil. It was intoxicating, pulling him deeper into the heart of the mystery. With each step, the world around him faded, the familiar sounds of the waking countryside slipping away into an unsettling quiet. The chirping of birds ceased, and even the rustle of leaves seemed to hush in reverence to the phenomenon that lay before him. In this silence, he could hear the echoes of his own heartbeat, each thump a reminder of his fragile humanity against the backdrop of something far greater. The shadows cast by the rising sun danced along the edges of the agroglypho, teasing him with glimpses of movement that were not entirely there, creating an illusion of depth and form that played tricks on his mind. He knelt beside the geometric formation, tracing the lines with trembling fingers, feeling the coolness of the plant stalks bent into precise shapes, their fibers unbroken, yet yielding to a force beyond comprehension. It was a testament to something intelligent, something that had orchestrated this spectacle with a meticulousness that defied explanation. He could almost hear the faint whisper of ancient languages carried on the breeze, the voices of those who may have once stood in awe of such wonders. But what had they seen? What truths had they unearthed amidst the vast expanse of the cosmos? Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught his eye, a shadow darting just beyond the edge of the field. He jerked his head up, heart racing, scanning the horizon for any sign of life. The silhouette was gone, swallowed by the tall grasses that swayed gently in the wind, but the feeling of being watched returned with a vengeance. It was as if the very landscape held its breath, observing him with an insatiable curiosity that sent chills skittering down his spine. Was it the remnants of his own fear manifesting, or was there indeed something lurking in the periphery, aware of his presence? Determined to shake off the unease, he turned his attention back to the agroglypho, immersing himself in its beauty. The patterns began to shift in his mind, fractals emerging that hinted at a deeper truth hidden within the geometry. Could this be a message from the cosmos? A call to awaken the dormant parts of humanity that had long been forgotten? The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying, a double-edged sword that cut deep into his psyche, igniting a flame of curiosity even as it fanned the embers of dread. As the sun climbed higher, casting its golden rays across the field, the landscape transformed. The shadows elongated, stretching across the ground like fingers reaching for him, and for a brief moment he felt the ground tremble beneath him, a subtle reminder of the forces at play. It was in that moment of vulnerability that he heard it, a low, resonant sound, an echo that seemed to rise from the earth itself, carrying with it an urgency that he could not ignore. It was a call, a summons to uncover the truth that lay just beyond the veil of perception. His mind raced with possibilities. What if this was a warning, a sign that he was treading on sacred ground, that the knowledge he sought was not intended for human eyes? He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him, a collective consciousness that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the secrets of the universe hidden in plain sight. The burden of understanding felt like a chain wrapped around his soul, constricting his breath as he grappled with the enormity of it all. Just then, a flash of brilliance illuminated the agroglypho, an otherworldly light that danced across the patterns, revealing hidden symbols that had previously escaped his notice. They shimmered and shifted, each pulsation a heartbeat of the cosmos, drawing him in with an irresistible force. He felt himself leaning closer, mesmerized by the spectacle, when suddenly a sharp crack pierced the silence, followed by a surge of energy that rippled through the air. The agroglypho flared brighter, as if reacting to the disturbance, and the atmosphere thickened with an electric tension. Everything around him felt heightened, the colors more vivid, the sounds sharper, as if the world was awakening from a long slumber. He stumbled back, heart racing as the realization sank in. This was not merely a phenomenon, it was an invitation to something much greater than himself. The cosmos was alive, and it was watching him with an intent that was both thrilling and deeply unsettling. The moment hung in the air like a fragile thread, poised between revelation and dread. What had he stumbled upon? What ancient truths could this agroglypho reveal, and what price would he have to pay to uncover them? As he stood at the precipice of understanding, a profound sense of unease washed over him. It was clear that the secrets held within this field were more than mere symbols. They were the echoes of a cosmic dance, a connection to something beyond human comprehension. With a heavy heart and a mind racing with questions, he stepped back, the weight of the moment settling over him like a shroud. The agroglypho pulsed softly behind him, a reminder of the mysteries that awaited, but he felt an instinctual need to retreat, to gather his thoughts before plunging deeper into the unknown. He turned away, casting one last glance at the intricate patterns that seemed to shimmer with life, a silent promise that this was only the beginning. As he walked away, the feeling of being watched intensified, as if the very fabric of the universe was stretching to follow him, urging him to return, to dive into the depths of the mystery that lay before him. The echoes of the cosmic field surrounded him, whispering secrets that would haunt his dreams and awaken a hunger for knowledge that could never be satiated. What had he uncovered, and what would it mean for him and the world beyond? The questions lingered in the air, heavy with the weight of impending revelations, leaving him breathless with anticipation and dread. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced eerily across the field. As he walked away from the agroglypho, the world around him felt transformed, as if it had been tinted with a layer of surrealism. The air was thick with a metallic tang, the remnants of the energy that had surged just moments before. It clung to him, an invisible shroud that made every breath feel charged with anticipation, as if the very act of inhaling was a communion with the unknown. With each step, the sounds of the night began to swell. The rustle of leaves, the distant chirping of crickets, and the occasional call of an owl became a symphony of the dark. Yet beneath this familiar cacophony, he sensed something else, a low, rhythmic thrum that resonated in the ground beneath his feet. It was as if the earth itself was alive, pulsing with the heartbeat of something ancient, something that had been awakened from a slumber deep beneath the soil. The sensation was almost magnetic, drawing him back, teasing him with whispers of knowledge that swirled just out of reach. He paused, his heart pounding in his chest, as the shadows around him seemed to deepen and twist, forming shapes that were both familiar and alien. The memory of the agroglypho pulsed in his mind, its intricate patterns etched into his very being. They felt like a code, an invitation to decipher a language spoken by the cosmos itself. What secrets did it hold? What truths lay hidden beneath the surface of reality? The weight of these questions pressed heavily upon him, igniting a flicker of fear deep within. Suddenly, a flash of light erupted in the distance, sharp and bright against the encroaching darkness. He instinctively hunched down, heart racing, as he scanned the horizon for the source. The light pulsed rhythmically, almost as if it were responding to the thrum in the ground, each beat echoing a silent summons. The air crackled with energy, and a chill ran down his spine. He felt it then, a presence, an awareness that transcended the physical world. It was as if the cosmos had turned its gaze upon him, recognizing his curiosity, his thirst for understanding. His mind raced with the implications. This was not just a natural phenomenon, it was a message, a communication from beyond the veil of human perception. The light flickered again, and he could almost hear a voice in the silence, a soft whisper that beckoned him back to the field. The agroglypho was not merely a pattern, it was a key, unlocking doors to dimensions unseen. But what lay beyond those doors? What price would he pay for knowledge not meant for humanity? As he stood frozen in the shadowy embrace of the night, the world around him felt suspended in time. His senses sharpened, every sound magnified, the rustling of a small animal in the underbrush, the distant ripple of water, the wind's gentle caress through the tall grass. Each sensation fed the growing tension within him, a visceral reminder that he was teetering on the edge of discovery. The fear of the unknown clawed at the back of his mind, a primal instinct urging him to flee. Yet there was an undeniable pull, an irresistible urge to turn back, to confront whatever lay hidden in the depths of the agroglypho's truth. In that moment of hesitation, he felt the ground shift beneath him, an imperceptible tremor that resonated through his bones, a reminder that he was not alone. The shadows around him writhed, and a low hum filled the air, vibrating in harmony with the pulsing light. It was a song of the cosmos, an invitation that promised to reveal the interconnectedness of all things, yet it carried with it an undercurrent of dread. This was not a game. The stakes were real, and the consequences of insight could be far-reaching. Taking a deep breath, he made the decision to return. Each step felt like a journey into the unknown, the weight of his curiosity drawing him back to the epicenter of the mystery. As he approached the field once more, the agroglypho came into view, glowing softly in the twilight. The pattern seemed to hum with energy, whispering secrets that only the brave or the foolish would dare to explore. And then, in the heart of the agroglypho, he noticed something new, a symbol woven into the existing shapes. Delicate, yet unmistakable, a hidden message waiting to be unveiled. It shimmered in hues of deep indigo and silver, pulsating with a rhythm that matched the thrum in the earth. His breath caught in his throat, a sudden clarity washing over him. This was not just a sign, it was a culmination of all that had come before, a gateway to understanding that transcended time and space. But even as the revelation unfolded, a sense of foreboding settled around him. The realization that knowledge often comes with a price hung heavy in the air. What would this new understanding demand of him? What sacrifices would he have to make to fully grasp the significance of this cosmic connection? The agroglypho seemed to pulse with a life of its own, urging him to decipher its meaning, while simultaneously warning him of the dangers that lay ahead. As he stood there, poised on the brink of discovery, the atmosphere thickened with an electric tension, and a sound echoed in the distance. A faint whisper, almost like a voice calling his name, a reminder that he was being watched. He felt a shiver run down his spine, a visceral recognition that this was not the end, but rather the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything he thought he knew about the universe. With his heart pounding, he reached out toward the shimmering symbol, the promise of the unknown drawing him closer even as the shadows loomed larger around him. The cosmos had extended its hand, inviting him into the depths of its mysteries, and he knew that whatever awaited him on the other side would change the course of his life forever. If you felt the same chill these witnesses did, subscribe and come back for the next case.